Welcome to our garden tour. This is July 23rd, 2020, and these are our aloe vera plants. They've been flowering, or flowers are almost gone. Now here, this is a blackberry plant. This was a little volunteer that we decided to pot, and here's another one coming up. Next to this blueberry, really has not ever done very well, but it sometimes produces blueberries. But the one next to it just really likes its location. And the blueberry harvest is almost over. This is bird netting that I have on top of it so they don't eat the fruit. But there's just a couple of little fruits left. But we got a decent harvest from it this year. And this is a Roma tomato plant. It's doing pretty well. Hasn't produced fruit yet, but it's got some flowers ready to open, so I think soon we'll get some tomatoes from it. Then down here, this is cauliflower. These first two ones with big leafy, and hopefully they'll start producing some cauliflower in there soon. These are purple cabbage, and they're doing pretty well, but we hope to see them start to, those leaves start to form together to make a cabbage. It's a beefsteak tomato. What's interesting is this beefsteak tomato is planted from seed, and this has been planted like 2 months ago, and it's finally just now taken off, whereas this Roma tomato was planted from an actual tomato from our kitchen that we just cut up and stuck in the dirt. So there you go. Down here we got some strawberries, and this is our blackberry bush. It's about the end of the season. We got a few more blackberries to go, but they're just about done. There's a raspberry plant here too. This is the first year that we had this plant planted, and so it's a baby. It's not really producing, but it's got a few that are going to be coming up here, and we've eaten a couple of them off of it. Produced a little. Here's our lime tree, and you know how important limes are to us. Got to have limes for our taco meat and fish and everything, so we're excited about this. It's not producing yet. The chives. Now these chives, they look kind of chopped up because we've been chopping off pieces and eating them, chopping them up, putting them in our food. But these were also, they've just been growing gangbusters, and these are things that we planted just the bottom section, and they rooted and took off and have been producing more. And that was just something out of the kitchen again. Here's some more of our purple cabbage that we're excited about. And marigolds and roses. We love our rose garden, of course. Here's some more chives. This is mint that's kind of died off, but we're hoping that the flowers will be the seeds that will make a new plant come in there. Got some onions over here planted. These are our potatoes. Our potatoes got sick, and so we're letting them die. We're not watering them, but it's crazy. We haven't watered them in about a week and a half, and there's still part of it that's alive. So, but once it's all dead, then we'll harvest whatever potatoes grew down in there and see if there's any damage or blight or what it is that happens. So we're going to be careful with that. Over here, the sweet potatoes are doing really well. Yeah, these are white sweet potatoes and not the typical red ones. So they're just as good. Have lots of good vitamins and things. So we're excited about those. But I think next year I want to grow the red ones too. This is an acorn squash, and that's a fall crop, so these will be growing for quite a long time before we get any squash from it. But that's good, because these are the kind of squash that once they do grow, they stay good all winter in your cupboard. And here's our cute little frog just relaxing, just to remind you that this is a nice place to relax and have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever. Over here we have some tomatillos. These are those little green tomatoes that make that wonderful salsa verde. So we're excited about those. There's another one here starting. So we hope they'll produce sometime this year. Who knows? It's the first time that we've grown those. And one of my favorite rocks, the actinolite that we got from Brightwood on our last trip up there. Don't know if you can see, it's really cool crystals in there. Whole thing. And it's very heavy. Another one that's a favorite rock is, this is chrysocolla. And if you like copper minerals and things that are blue-green, pretty green rocks, there you go. It's a copper ore. And here we have the beautiful hydrangeas. I think hydrangeas are my favorite flower. These are from Mother's Day from Mary and Jason. Thank you guys. Over here is spaghetti squash. And they're doing pretty well. They're putting up their little curly things to grab on. And excited about spaghetti squash. These are pinto beans. You want the pinto bean? And they're just barely right now producing because the weather has been like 100 degrees, and normally beans will not set pods if it's over 85. So they've kind of slowed down a little, but they're growing and enjoying life, I guess, you know. But we're keeping them as cool as possible. Over here we have green beans. Same situation where green beans don't like to set pods when it's hot, but we got a couple going. And we have harvested some pinto beans and some green beans, and already right now we're drying out the pinto beans. Okay. Over here, oh, these are so interesting. Over here we have the Scarlet Nantes carrots, and look at, they're starting to peek up. And I did not thin them out, so they're all bunched together, and I figured we're probably gonna get some really weird deformed carrots, but they're starting to show here, starting to peek up. See how they're all crowded? They're all crowded, but you know, it's what it is. Over here we got some onions, sweet onions, and go back around. Oh, over here looks like lettuce. Huh? We've got lettuce. This is basil. Lots of lettuce. Spinach. Spinach, once it got hot, you know, spinach started bolting, which is going to seed. You don't want to see that, but you know, it's what happens. We've had days and days of 100-degree weather, so there's more lettuce. Here's some more carrots that we just kind of started. We'll plant in a grow bag later, and I will plant these a little more separately. Oops, this one got water, made it fall over. Now these are our straight neck squash, and look at that lovely squash growing on there. These have been doing really well. And here's another one over here. It's got a nice little squash growing there, and each of those are just about ready to pick, actually. So there's some more growing in here. They're getting started. More under here. Over here we got Serrano chilies. Waiting for these chilies to start producing here pretty quickly. Oh, I see. Can you see that? I see a baby praying mantis, and that's a good thing to have in your garden because they eat other bugs that eat your plants. They don't eat your plants, they eat your bugs. So I'm happy to see them. Welcome. Here we've got kale. We all know how good for you kale is, so you know we pick off the little kale leaves and put them with our salads. So, oh, over here's some mint, and bees love these little flowers as well as the roses, and so we have them over here with the squash because squash have male and female flowers. The male flowers is just a flower on a stem, Like, see these flowers right here where there's just a stem? That's a male flower. But female flowers have a fruit attached to them. They have, let me see if I don't see any female ones on here. But let's look on our neighbor. That's a reason why it's important to plant next door to them. Okay, this one's already been fertilized. Here's one. Okay, now see right here. See right here how there is a flower on the end of that little baby squash right there. And that flower is a female flower. When that opens, if a bee is in the male flower, gets pollen, and then comes over to here and passes that pollen there, that's pollination. And it will grow into a squash. If it doesn't, and that usually has to happen like the same day it opens, it will close. And if it doesn't, then that squash will not develop. It will just kind of fall off the plant. So we want to have flowers here and things that bring the bees. And what's interesting is the flowers, these are such big open flowers, we get bumblebees in them. So thanks for all the bees. So anyways, that's what's happening in the garden right now. And time for me to water the grass and then turn off my favorite hose, because you know I absolutely love this hose because it is one of those ones that shrinks up. It expands and shrinks up. So you'll see I'm going to turn it off. And what I do too is, I love this little hydrangea, is I'll just use the water that's in the hose to water this hydrangea while the hose shrinks up. It's one of those hoses you don't have to coil up or anything. It just kind of does its own thing. And it's like a garden toy. All by itself doing this. As the water, get the water back where it goes. And here it's still shrinking up. And it's about done. So then you can just pick it up and look at that. Look at that. Isn't that easy? There we go. We just got, it's kind of like a garden snake. And I just turned this off. Also love this little handle. Spray nozzle. And then we just set it right there. And can enjoy the garden and the hummingbirds that come and visit here. And the beautiful view of the park. Love you guys. Hope you have a great day.